好了 Okay, now let's just back to our reading class today. We are still, certainly we are continue reading the guidance of insight from the Buddha, the common Buddhist text. And we come to the book, page 78, or maybe line 20, I guess. Am I right?
Yeah.
So did we finish last time? I think maybe we didn't.
We are going to start from 20, L.20.
Line L.20, okay. So, okay, the achievement and the nature of the Buddha. This passage explains that the Buddha is the Tathagata. In Chinese, is a Ru Lai. One who is thus gone or thus come, depends on how you like to translate. The word loga that the Buddha has transcended is elsewhere described as disintegrating process of experience, six sensory objects, sensory consciousness, and the feeling that arise conditioned by sensory contact. That's from Samyutta Nikaya, the miscellaneous discourse. For example, all that is some way painful, dukkha, however subtly so. Okay. Yeah, do you want to start to read? Yeah.
Okay. The world has been fully understood by the Tathagata. From the world, the Tathagata is unfettered. The origination of the world has been fully understood by the Tathagata. The origination of the world has been abandoned by the Tathagata. The cessation of the world has been fully understood by the Tathagata. The cessation of the world has been realized by the Tathagata. The path leading to the cessation of the world has been fully understood by the Tathagata. The path leading to the cessation of the world has been developed by the Tathagata. Whatever in this world with its gods, maras, and brahmas, with its people, renunciants, brahmins, kings, and the masses, is seen, heard, sensed, cognized, attained, sought after, pondered by the intellect, and has been fully awakened to by the Tathagata. Thus is called the Tathagata.
Okay, shall we stop here for a while? Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I guess we start to discuss, or in this text, the way he arranged is after we, in earlier passages about how he attained his fully enlightened, and then also according to the Buddhist sutra or the text, what does the path, or basically mean the discovery, what the Buddha has discovered, right? And now we come to actually more like, of course, after he became the Buddha or the enlightened one, so one of his common name, which actually the Buddha always addressed himself, especially in Pali Buddhism. Generally, if you find in the Pali Buddhism, when they address, when someone's if you read the suttas, it's always happened that when someone addresses the Buddha, we say Gautama Buddha. Or if they are not respectful with the Buddha, we say Gautama, But then the Buddha always claimed himself as I, the Tathagata, what. So it's very interesting. The word Tathagata in the Pali text, it's certainly we are not in the research, but we don't know why. But in some way that he always used the term Tathagata as a way to say like almost like I. The Tathagata like to say this and that. And I guess that might be one of the reasons why here, not only just to talk about what did he discover, but now why the Buddha kind of like name himself as a Tathagata. In Chinese, usually translate Ru Lai, but you also can translate Ru Qu. But in Chinese, Qu is not a good term. So generally, it never been translated in like that's gone, right? We only always translate as a does come. But if you look at the linguistic wise, the word agata, sometimes the term, if you study Sanskrit Pali, the same thing. Depends how you understand the Tathagata or the Tathagata, okay? So the Tathagata means does come. If it's the Tathagata means does gone. So But in English, I think it's fine, or even in the you could say the more like Indian language is fine with the dasgong. But Chinese, you don't say 如去. It's not very nice translation. So it never even happened in Chinese. Anyway, now this actually the quotation is from the Loka Sutta in the Itivuttaka. Okay, Itivuttaka is one of the a collection of the sutta been put in what we call this Kuttaka Nikaya. Okay, so in Pali Buddhism you have 5 Nikaya. So in Chinese generally we say 四阿含, but in Pali it's always say 5 Nikaya. It's not 4 Nikaya. Okay, and in one of the collection of the Nikaya, which is very short, but it's called Itivuttaka. The word Itivuttaka, it's mean in Chinese you could literally translate as a 如是意. Iti means such a way or in such sense. Vutta means say, or it is utterance or utterance in such a way. So that's the you don't know the Itivuttaka. When you finish the sutta, you look at down. There's a Loka Sutta, mean the sutta about the word Loka, and then it's from the page 121 to 122. Okay, that is it's called Itivuttaka, mean 如是意. Okay, now here there's a two way. They say the word has been fully understood. The word Loka or the word has been fully understood by the Tathagata. Okay, by the Tathagata. From the word, the Tathagata is unfettered. Okay, we surely know that the Tathagata is unfettered by from the word. Okay, it's not attached, or there's no any contamination. The Buddha would not have any contamination from the word. So now, but the origination of the word has been fully understood by the Tathagata. The origin of the word has been abandoned by the Tathagata. The cessation of the word has been fully understood by the Tathagata. Now, you look at this, it basically means the word Loka, you can understand that there's an origin, or usually if you look at a Noble Eightfold Path, you have the original, you have the word, and then you have the origin of the word, and then basically, what does this word mean here? I guess because firstly, we said that the Tathagata as a Buddha, so he was unfettered by the word, and also is fully understood by him, and abandoned by him. And the cessation, the original, he has 3 steps. 1, the word has been understood, fully understood by him. And then the original of the word is fully understood by him. The origination of the word and origination of the word has been abandoned also by him. Not only just the abandon, but the cessation of the word also been fully understood. And the path leading to the cessation of the word has been fully understood. And not just fully understood, but realized as well, and then also fully, and has been developed. So, and then here, basically, is why he defined that this is why he called the Tathagata, because whatever that kind of word, that word understood by the God, Mara, Brahma, and so forth, so that actually is being fully awakened by the Tathagata. Thus is called the Tathagata. We can just read the next one and we can discuss. Actually, this is not a very easy passage in a certain way. Shall we read that first? And we just know that he's going to talk about the word, and then the Tathagata actually has the understand the origination, and also not just understand, but basically just say the understand of the origination and the cessation. Yeah. Okay.
From
Yes.
the night the Tathagata attains the unsurpassed full awakening until the night of his death, when he attains final nirvana in the nirvana element with no fuel remaining. Whatever the Tathagata has said, spoken, explained is just so, and not otherwise. Thus, he is called the Tathagata. In accord with what the Tathagata says is what he does, and in accord with what he does is what he says. Thus, he is called the Tathagata. In this world, with its gods, Maras, and Brahmas, with its people, renunciants, Brahmins, kings, and the masses, the Tathagata is the vanquished victor, the all-seeing, the wielder of power. Thus, he is called the Tathagata.
Okay. Right. Now, the next paragraph, it's, I will explain that a little bit later. Anyway, just read through this first. It say, so we know that from the night that the Tathagata attained the unsurpassed fully awakening, we know that according to the Pali tradition, or actually in all the traditions, so the Buddha gained enlightenment at what time?
In the dawn. 6.
初夜、中夜、后夜。
Which one?
Last one. Oh, you saw which one he got enlightened?
Yeah, which one? Which you say 初夜中夜? You mean the first night, or in Indian way counting first night, second night, third night?
Your question is.
Which night?
Which
We do that as a 初夜中夜后夜. Which night?
should be first?
It's okay.
No?
Anyone online? Which night you think that the Buddha attained enlightenment?
The last.
You mean enlightenment?
Yeah,
In the
fully enlightened. Here they say from the night that the Tathagata attains unsurpassed full awakening.
When he saw
中
the
中夜度明星
yeah,
Don't
when
hear.
he saw the star. Whenever
When you saw the star.
yeah, he saw the star, right?
这个人应该知道。
Are you sure the people, the online person online now? Are you there? Busy with food or what?
Yes, we are here, and I don't know.
Okay, fine, good. Thank you.
I'm here too. I don't know.
I mean, generally understanding, of course, that's still, with that kind of, detail, certainly you could presume a lot of people have different opinion, but in general understand which night. No, it was whole year.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, because accordingly, it's said that the first night he able to attend seeing his own past life for billion years within that few hours, 3 hours. And the second night, he able to see the whole cosmic transforming, and even the persons or beings that been reborn and again, die and reborn. And the third one, he could see complete color of his defilements. So that was the third night. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the third night. Yeah. Anyway, here, from the night that the Tathagata attains unsurpassed full awakening until the night that he attained final nirvana in the nirvana element with no fields remaining. So, the term, here the translation is no fields remaining. I guess this is certainly is not that's what I said. That when you see the translation, sometimes it is very clear. If I look at this, then I certainly know this is highly influenced by the Pali study, because this is how generally understand in the Pali study the word vi-nipan in Chinese, parinirvana, or not parinirvana, there's one more term, nirvana parinirvana. So it's refer to the no field, because it's believed that then there's no any support for the Buddha to be reborn again. So, but that certainly, again, in Mahayana Buddhism, redefined the term. So this is not our explanation here, okay? So, but this is certainly is highly, it's quite, I have to say, when you learn Buddhism as a kind of like so-called elementary Buddhism or the general understanding, this certainly is a general understanding. But in the Mahayana, for certain reason, then they think this is not a fully explanation way. No, okay. Okay, so this is just a translation, but it carry meaning that as a general understanding mean he had to find no nirvana. Mean because and no any support for the Buddha to be reborn again. No. Whatever the Tathagata has said, spoken, explained is just so, because whatever he said, whatever he speak, he said, and the way he delivering the teachings and explain is such a way, or you could say is in such accordingly, but depending on how to translate the word Tatha eva, so 如是 in Chinese, such a way. Okay. 如, okay. And then even the word Tatha eva, sometimes in Chinese, even in Sanskrit also, some people translate as 如是, some translate as 如, but some people get confused. They say they are two different terms. Okay. But you are right also, because sometimes the Tatha eva can translate as 如是 and 如 in Chinese, means such, or such is like this. Or, however, you do also have the term called Tatha, mean such is such, okay? That's why I always say, don't 100% so sure about the Chinese when you read it, you know. Because we have a lot of compare study, we have found out that a lot of interesting things already. Anyway, here, I guess that's the reason why I like at least he put it, that's at least a Pali word there. So we know, it's just so here he referred to Tatha eva, okay? But this in Chinese, you could simply say 如是. And not otherwise. Thus he is called the Tathagata, okay? Now, we will explain that a little more. So we first understand, in other words, the word is being fully understood by the Tathagata. That's why it's called Tathagata. But why the word is fully understood by the Tathagata is called Tathagata? Because he is fully understand the origination and also realize it, the cessation. Fully understand the origination and fully understand the cessation as well. But also, even with the cessation, he's not just to fully understand, but he able to realize, fully understood, and develop. As the origination, he is able to abandon. You know. Well, I mean, this term maybe for some people think is not very insignificant. I guess it's very important, have a philosophical impact there too. In other words, you know, we all kind of know that when we say about the Buddha, Buddha is the one, in general Chinese understand, say someone is 处离三界, you know, go beyond or just live beyond the three worlds. That's how the general Chinese understand. But just talk about the term Tathagata as the Buddha always addressed himself in Pali. So he called himself as such gone or such coming, or you could say such a way he's coming or such a way he's gone. So the suchness, it is referred to what? The suchness is referred to the suchness or the such, the ta, it's referred to the word, okay? Now this is one of the explanations, but the word is not, the Buddha only understand the word, but understand the origination of the word. If you look at the scientist way, I mean, he know what is the beginning of the word, but of course the Buddha didn't believe there's a beginning of the word, because from a long time the word is there. Now, we will explain that a little more later. And then also the end of the word, you know. So, but the word, sometimes the word loka, please understand in two ways. One, the word loka understand the word as in terms of the Four Noble Truths. This, the body. In other words, we refer to our senses. 5 aggregates, 6 senses, 6 bases, and 18 elements, like that. And also, that's what we call you could generally understand that kind of word came in nama loka, mean the word in terms of the name. And then you have the word as a material word, that what we understand, the three rhymes of existence. So in other words, much easier to explain the second one first. So that the Buddha understand the three rhyme existence, the origin of it, and the cessation of it. Okay, maybe put it in a simple term. Why there's a existence of the desire rhyme? Why there's existence of even the highest heavens, like the formless rhyme? And what is the cessation of the desire rhyme? What is the cessation of the formless rhyme?
So your material world includes
the three rhymes of the sanjie嘛, the three rhymes of existence. And then sometimes in the sutta, the word also refer to the one of the very famous passages saying the very existence of ourself, that highly embedded with the senses. So that's why the Buddha always mentioned that in this phantom of the body and the mind, I see the origin of the word, the cessation of the word, Or the cause of the origin of the word, and then just like a Four Noble Truths, and the cessation of the path leading to the cessation of the word. So that's why the word Tathagata actually had a very, very complicated, I would say, or you would say comprehensive connotation for the Buddha himself. That's why he always addressed himself as a Tathagata. So, and I will explain a little more later. And then the other, it said, actually this is kind of like conclusion, because this passage has come from the Loka, and earlier there are a little more explanation of what a Tathagata is. So it's kind of like a little conclusion saying that in according to what the Tathagata say and what he does carry, the Tathagata carry, and then what did he says, and that's it's the Tathagata. That's why it's called the Tathagata. Now, in general, actually, when we say the Tathagata, we understand the Tathagata has 8 ways. Say that we say the Tathagata is mean he comes accordingly. 如来嘛，如实的来，and then or 如去，如实的去. So according with that in the characteristic of going, Why does it say that 如来 or the Tathagata mean according or with the way that he comes to 如来? Why? Because all the Buddha is how we become the Buddha in such a same way. Started from a Vipassana Buddha also like that. So that's why it's till the time that when he met the Vipassana, even though then he started to practice his paramita. So, and this is how he comes to become a Buddha. That's why it's called the Tathagata. And the second way, and the second meaning of that is, so he went in such a way, How did he went? The famous story is say that he was born. Here, the when in term not say he passed away, because the Buddha always refer himself as a Tathagata. He cannot say I pass away, right? So here refer to the when mean from what he comes and what it goes. What it goes, that means referring to when he was born. So he was just like the most powerful calf could stand on the ground for 7 steps. And not with a confusion mind, but with a clear mind that he could look around, that he know that what he will be achieved. So that's why it's called the Tathagata. So what does it mean by how he gone? Okay. In other words, you could say he gone from the heavens. He has gone. He left the heaven and come to the earth on the ground. So, I mean, this maybe explanation is sound a little strange for a Chinese speaker. As I say, this is something to do with the language. In a certain culture, this kind of language is just, it makes perfect sense for them. Yeah, I'm sure you know, all people know English here. You know, sometimes something, it doesn't make sense to a certain language, but it makes sense to other languages. And the third one, you know, the word Tatha. So the Tathagata is called the Tathagata. It's called, you know, such. It's called the Tathagata. The Tatha, the word is means such. You know, Gata, as I say, the earlier first one means understood as the one who comes in such a way, or the one who went in such a way. Okay. And the third one, you just simply understand that the Tathagata, the word Tatha, okay, mean the such. The such is referred to the Dhamma. So, according to that Dhamma, either the Dhamma is in the, or I could maybe I don't want to take it too complicated. Make it simple. So, according to the Dhamma, that's how he comes. So that's why it's called the Tathagata. Now, and then the word, according to number 4 explanation, is the word that according to the Dhamma that has come, the Dhamma chiefly refer to the 4 noble truths. Because if you look at the Buddha once said in the sutta, say it's to the 4 noble truths, the Tathagata had achieved the full enlightenment. And then the Tathagata also have the meaning in the number 5 one, said that the Tathagata is the one who see what? Who see the suchness. Now this is based on the sixth sense law. Because in the word, so based on the sixth sense law, we started to, for example, like the eye, you started to see the color, and this is how things beings exist. And as the Tathagata, the one who really, he was the seer of how this is happening. And then in such a real, truth, like the Ta, such a real way. That's why it's called the Tathagata. And the other thing is that he did speak. Remember here mentioned about the speaks, and then mentioned about he act, or you could say he does. And according that he actually to go beyond or live along. This is also called the Tathagata. Okay, I think I was just waiting for people having any comment and question. I know this is, I don't know whether people make sense of it or not, but no? No question, any comment?
Excuse me, I just want to, this is Tiny. Can I ask a question? I just want to double check. On the page 79,
Yeah.
second paragraph, the word refers to the material word or the essential word?
Both.
Both.
Mm.
Okay. That's the one you just mentioned, the loka.
Yeah, the word loka. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But in Chinese in general, they like to understand the word Tathagata. It's kind of like a formula when we study Buddhism. 无所从来亦无所期是名如来. So it's the word that they used to say. I mean, if you study so-called Chinese system, I think that's definitely, if they write what is a Ru Lai mean, Tathagata mean, they always, I mean, even though you agree or disagree, but you begin with that statement. It becomes a very common way of understanding in the Chinese when you study Buddhism in Chinese. But I don't mean that only Chinese say that. Actually, Chinese have all this information, what I just mentioned. But I just say, but that's, it become the most common way they understood it, because it's highly influenced with the Mahayana idealism. Yeah.
I have a question
Mm.
about this word that is only used in Buddhism for Buddha.
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I know the word Buddha, no. The Buddha certainly is not only used in Buddhism. I mean, if you look at the Indian source, I mean, I'm talking, we don't have that very clear term in other religion. I mean, when I say the religion in India, but certainly the term Buddha has been understood by many other religions. I mean, I'm talking about religion in India, yeah. But they might not use it as often as the Buddhism. The Tathagata, I'm not sure. I cannot say for sure, because there's so many sources nowadays, either Chinese or either English or either what. Still a lot of things that we don't know yet. I mean, I'm not sure. But I know the term Buddha, at least culturally in old day, that's the reason why when the Tathagata, you could say, when the Buddha attained his Buddhahood, remember when the early time when you read this passage I did mention, then he told one of the what we call the you could say wanderers, and then and he asked the Buddha whether he looks very different, whether he was a god or what. But also it's very interesting the sense of God in old days, not necessarily what we're only thinking about a God that someone that beyond touch or beyond, like almost in the heaven, you're never really able to having a conversation with. But it looks like in old day, the God, sometimes you even still have to able to, if you're lucky enough, you might be meet a God that you could talk to them. It almost like appear as a person. But when he asked the Buddha like that, the Buddha told him, no, he's a Buddha. So, and he's the Arahant. The term Arahant in the Buddha, actually, it's kind of like the most, kind of like people who are in the recluse system are really wanted to follow, that. But the Tathagata might be quite unique term, I have to say. I suspect that it might be more unique term.
Thank you.
Yeah. You could say in almost like exclusively for Buddhism. It looks like, but I cannot say 100% for sure. That, yeah. Like the Arahant, certainly in Jainism, in some way they use it, especially the old, very, very old literature. Very, very old literature. Since our literature, as I said, after the Muslim conquer India, so a lot of literature has gone. So we don't know. Certainly it's not in nowadays what you find the Indian general, like a Hindu, so-called Hindu text. They don't have those Buddha and Arahant and those terms. But it seems like it's clear that in old day, during the Buddha's time, those terms are widely understood. Kind of like they have a common understanding what they are. Yeah. Okay. If no any further, without due, now we can go further. The Tathagata as the one person that causes many good things to appear.
Whilst there is one person who arises in the world for the welfare of the many, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world, for the good welfare and happiness of gods and humans. Who is that one person? It is the Tathagata, the Arhat, worthy one, the perfectly awakened Buddha. This is that one person. Monks, there is one person arising in the world who is hard to obtain, who arises as a man of marvels, whose passing away is a distress for the many, who is unique, without a peer, without counterpart, incomparable, unequaled, matchless, unrivaled, the best of humans. Who is that one person? It is the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly awakened Buddha. This is that one person. Monks, the appearance of one person is the appearance of great vision, of great light, of great radiance. It is the appearance of the 6 things unsurpassed, the realization of the fourfold analytical knowledge, the penetration of the various elements, of the diversity of elements. It is the realization of the fruit that is knowledge and freedom, the realization of the fruits that are string entry, once returning, non-returning, and arhatship. Who is that one person? It is the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly awakened Buddha. This is that one person. Monks, the appearance of this one person is the appearance of all these.
Okay. So this one is actually from the one, and from the Anguttara Nikaya. Okay. Here, actually, according to the Anguttara Nikaya, I think it's kind of like tell the purpose of why the Buddha was born, or why the Buddha was here. So here, so I think that this is certainly is the almost like the mission statement, of the Buddhism. To say that the one who arises in the world, so for the welfare of the many, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world, for the good welfare and happiness of gods and humans. That's almost like a mission statement. And actually, even if you are study the Buddhist discipline, the Vinaya, the Buddhist discipline, the Lü Xue. So and then it's I think it's also the same thing that the Buddha always advised there. When a monk after become, especially in the Buddha's time after become Arahant, but it's believed that at least you had to be a stream about to become stream entry. Then only that you leave the monastery, that you could go other places to start to teach. It's kind of like that in those days in Buddha's time, there is almost like there was like the qualification, the minimal qualification you must have. So then during the Buddha's time, you suddenly always believed that you become a novice monk for 2 years, you study all these kind of rules, understand the monastic life and so forth, and then the other rest of the 5 years. So supposedly the 5 years you will attend at least before become the stream entry, right, in the Buddha's time. Well, it looks like, my understanding is it's not very difficult. I mean, during the Buddha's time, that to become a stream entry in 6 years, that definitely is not a big deal, So, and then that time that whenever the monk leave, and then that's why the Buddha say this word, Here, say the same thing commonly. The Buddha arises in the word for the welfare for the many, for the happiness of the many. It's not saying that for the Buddhism, but it's for the welfare of many, for the happiness of many. There are two things there. One thing is, in other words, for the welfare for them, and then also for the happiness for them. Okay. So imagine if you are start to teach the thing that you will make them much more suffer. Maybe actually they are not suffer, but they think they are suffer. But we need to discuss about that, whether because they have a wrong idea of suffer, or because really is suffer, okay? But anyway, back to this. I mean, the statement is say that for the welfare and happiness of the other and for the many, and then also out of the compassion for the world, for the good and welfare and happiness of the gods and the human, okay? The benefit is not just even for human, but for the gods, yeah. I mean, I always want to stress this for a lot of Buddhists. I always talk about this in the past. I'm not sure people really think this is important, Whatever you do, you have to know that it's for the welfare and happiness for the others. Okay. I mean, accordingly, that's what the Buddha arises, But that depends on how to define that, certainly, and what that means by the welfare, what does it mean by the happiness. At least we must know the statement. And also, I mean, there are people also talk, sometimes they argue with me about what they believe. I say, no, Buddhism, even the Buddha arises in the world, according to Buddhism, is not only even for human, even for the gods. So, I mean, this is a deeper discussion that if in the future maybe you come across a lot of texts actually for not only just purely for human as well. So. Now, who is this person? So we say it is the Tathagata, the Arahant, the perfect awakened Buddha. Mean the Tathagata, the Arahant, the Samma Sambuddho. So, and this is one person. The rest actually, this is if you want to collect it, it's very complicated because here generally start to say, even this one person arises in the world, it's very hard to obtain, and he arises as many of marvels. But generally, I also like to translate marvels. Actually, I even think about in the future the temple must call the temples of marvels, but I think the people would think very strange in America. But anyway, in Chinese, the word marvels is 未曾有法. That's how Chinese, but that's also a very interesting term why translate 未曾有. But that in Sanskrit or what sometimes you understand as kind of like a marvels. But generally mean is something really wonderful, which is you don't find other place, but only here, like that. The word, original word. Buddha actually mean. And then Well, he's certainly been loved by others. So that's why I don't need to explain word by word. Just want to say this is certainly it's from Anguttara Nikaya, but it's really have a lot of thing to discuss here if you just go by line. But generally, just want to say he's really a very unique person, that a Buddha. So he has to be a Tathagata and Arahant, and then a Samma Sambuddha. And he has many unique kind of, like the way he was born, what kind of family he was born, and what sort of mother that would be, and so forth accordingly. And then at that time when he was born, there must certain things that should be arise, happening, and so forth. Yeah. This is, in other words, it sounds a little bit interesting. It's like, even though as a modern time, people still like to think, oh, everybody can be a Buddha like that. But it looks like, even from old tradition, but depends on how you like to debate about that, but still think that to be born as a Buddha, it's not that simple, And then, of course, the next paragraph is about the great vision of the great light, the great radiance, and so forth. And a lot of this content about the quality what the Buddha is about, because we have to understand, even in terms of general realized understanding in Indian, what you could say Indian term, a person who has a wisdom always with the great light and radiance and so forth. But now, of course, there's a kind of a comparative way of saying, comparative way of saying about towards this Indian religion, like, but of course the Buddha is not just a light, but the great light and the great radiance and so forth, And what I think is that here, maybe the last thing is, maybe this is why I want to put it here, the more significant is that he also is the one that he was born here, he will realization of the fruit that is a knowledge and freedom. Okay, in other words, mean the realization of the fruit that is the stream entry, once returner, non-returner, and arahantship. Imagine that there are people who practice even before the Buddha was born, but there's no such a person that could tell you this person up to what sort of realization, or this person attend what kind of realization, so he actually would become what? Like, for example, someone who will reborn the maximum 7 life, or someone who will never return to this desired rhyme, and like that. So only the Buddha realized that, could do that. Otherwise, just say, oh, he's a good practitioner, that's it. But still does not know the difference between what is the really quality or the content of the good practitioner, in what sense he is the Sotapanna, the stream entry, or the once returner and non-returner and so forth. Now, if you look at all these quality, now you could really see the Buddhists in the. If you really have to study Buddhism in a more as a religion, I would say, maybe put in modern as religion, modern term as a religion. So it has to be how traditionally, or even during the Pali Buddhism, how they really take the Buddha is about. So he's a Tathagata, that a Buddha always refer himself as a Tathagata. What does it mean by that? But why he really used that Tathagata than the other term? And the other is that, but how important the Tathagata arise in this world? And then the first thing is about what is the mission statement that when he arrived in this world. And what kind of ability he could. Is that when he was born, anything that unique? And then also, and then even after he gained enlightenment, or even when he have all these powerful, so what sort of the knowledge he gained also? And up to the point that he was kind of like the best teacher, you could say, in such a way. Even here, he mentioned that, but he certainly understood very well, even among people who are really towards their liberation, enlightenment, there are stages to go, and what differences are these stages. Now, as a Buddhist, nowadays you might learn this, you take it for granted. Oh, it's not like this, or maybe you just recite by one. So imagine that if there was no one really put that up, Okay, go to practice, okay, now until I die, I see the Buddha, then I get enlightenment, that's it, But then it looks like the Buddha had made it very clear, you will reach that stage, how, and then even why you want to reach that stage, what is the benefit of that stage of reaching, and so forth. If you look at most of the religion, especially even in India, a lot of people think Indian have a step. They don't. Only later on, after the Buddhism have such a very systematical explanation, and then due to religious challenges, you could say, so the Indian religion also started to make up certain so-called the yoga system, step by step. They started to make. But this is why when you study Buddhism, you find, religion also especially, you find actually who start to this is the Buddha. Make it clear mention about all this. The steps and what kind of quality you need and so forth. Otherwise you just, practice, you have wonderful feeling, the teacher thinks you are good. Okay. You see, okay, right. I have a few minutes, we can take a break. Yes, any question or a comment?
This is In.
Yes.
I have two small questions. On page 80.
Yes.
The first line, the last word actually is the 6 things unsurpassed. What are the 6 things?
I cannot remember actually.
I looked, but I couldn't find any.
No, you have to look. Maybe I don't think sometimes because the sutta is very short. Yeah, I cannot remember. I know what is related on the fourfold analytical knowledge.
Yeah, what? That's my second. What is the fourfold analytical knowledge?
Well, I mean, first is know the Dhamma, and second, he can explain very well, and 就是外解嘛. Yeah, and he can explain very well, and he also know the meaning very well. And that was the last one. No, that is the Chinese, no, not the Pali. Yeah, explain is that the Bian is not the analytical. He could analyze well. The may want to explain. The last one is, but it's in Chinese usually it's 四无碍. But please understand, sometimes the Chinese explanation is not necessarily complete in accordance with the Pali. Okay, yeah. But generally, is understand this one. I cannot remember the 6 unsurpassed. Some I'm not in the mind right now. But usually the suwai is only referred to. I mean, traditionally in the Pali Buddhism, it's only when people who attend at least the first the stream enter, then they will have to fulfilling. I mean, I'm talking about tradition all day, so that then you have to learn this kind of four skill called analytical knowledge. But now it's changed. Now the 4 skill has been learned earlier time how to explain this. But in Buddha's time, no, you need to practice first, and then you must know how to explain it, how to analyze it, and so forth. Yeah. And then certainly that also to do with the practice, because the more you just like I have to say, somewhat like sometimes when I teach meditation, the same thing. I ask them to do it first. Don't argue too much. Don't explain too much. Only when you know what is experienced, then you start to see the difference, minor difference with this method, with that method, with this. This is what that's why I say. First is the Dhamma Vichaya, meaning that you could analyze what is the teachings. Let's say whether the first jhana have this, whether the second jhana, whether there's no, this called the Dhamma Vichaya. Yeah, and the meaning of it, why with that, what does it conduce to? Without that, what does it conduce to, and so forth. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's have a 5 minutes break and then we come back here. Okay.